is there not a specific industry that Wavescape prefers to work with when it comes to recruiting data?
No, pretty much everyone can use our intelligence, and so the use cases are a little bit different, right? If you're looking at, like, for example, if you have an hourly population that's incredibly wage sensitive, right? They'll move for 50 cents, a 50-cent increase per hour. You need to know who your competitors are for that talent within, a couple miles of every location that you've got, because they'll literally go down the street. Rightly so, by the way, because they're putting food on the table and they're really struggling to do it for their families, right? So you're hyper attuned to that kind of environment. And so, that's where the location data that we have, the ability to show, what's going on, or, in a very tight radius around every location is really powerful. When you're looking at, recruiting jobs that, could be hybrid or remote jobs, the ability to look across the country and the world to see what are trends, who's hiring similar kinds of jobs, what's going on with skills in those jobs, what's going on with wages in those jobs, and where might there be, some market arbitrage opportunities where we can place talent in a lower cost area versus a higher cost area. So that's a different use case entirely for a different segment of the employee population. And there's lots of different, flavors of those kinds of things. So no, there's no one industry. We deal with data for all industries, all levels of jobs. And it's useful for lots of different things. About 2/3 of our business comes from either recruiting or compensation management. The other 1/3 comes from financial services, who are interested in what hiring patterns portend for business outlook in folks. So doesn't matter what type of job you're hiring for, what industry. There's this idea of a more transparent labor market and more readily accessible intelligence is hugely valuable for all of them.
And for someone to say, hey, all right, yes, you're right. AI has it. I know y'all utilize AI. Could I not just get this same? Could I not just go to ChatGPT and get this same data from them as opposed to us engaging with you? Is that a true statement? They can get that same data from just going to ChatGPT?
So you can go and ask, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or one of the others. You can go and ask them, what should a marketing specialist in Las Vegas, Nevada be paid? And you will get an answer. As of right now, it's not a really good answer. And if you want to know what influences that pay, you're not going to get a lot of insight there as well. You'll get a lot of things that are authoritatively stated. So the models are only as good as the data that they're built on, and we're the ones providing the data, right? So, most of the data that we provide actually goes into other applications. It doesn't go into AI yet, and we don't use AI to come up with the answers. We use AI for processing related things. But our data doesn't go into AI applications or models yet. At some point, I think it probably will. I don't know when. It's kind of risky from a business standpoint to turn your core asset of the business out to the world through AI, but we'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. So,
because like you said,
but in the meantime,
cycle is weeks.
It opens up a whole series of questions, which is, what is truth coming from an AI, model, from, one of these LLMs and the agents that are derivative of that and so forth. What is truth anymore? And you've got, just like you have to be careful how you discern what you receive when you search online, you have to be careful, especially diligent about what you get when you're dealing with AI. And in some cases where the risk is really low, you don't really care whether it's 80% accurate or 99% accurate. In other cases, you want to make sure that you're as close to pristine as possible. So AI needs oversight. Oh,
yeah, definitely. I think the term that they use is hallucinate. AI will just some instances just come up with what they think you want to hear, and in order for them to accomplish that goal, they'll just make it up. Whereas, and to your point, somebody can just go to one of those AI, Gemini, whoever it is, and ask that question, but not have the supporting data all the time, and be able to decipher that without working with somebody like you and the people that you work with.
Yeah, you're right. And it's complicated further going back to what we were talking about earlier, which is whatever your experience with AI is, it's as bad as it's ever going to be, right? It's just getting better. And it's getting better at an alarming rate. So it's really difficult to say what's going to be left because, our whole frame of reference is changing fairly rapidly. I mean, none of us 2 years ago, none of us could have predicted how many of us use AI today, even if we don't use it very much. None of us could have predicted that. None of us could have predicted it. You could talk to, a machine and it'll give you back a very, very intelligent answer on very complicated questions. And how easy that would be. Well, just think about what's going to be there in 6 months or a year. We can't imagine it. We can't imagine it. The closest we can do is go and look at what's coming out of the tech hubs in the world and what those guys are starting to do, because that's going to show up on our doorstep within a matter of months, I think.